Hello folks, it's Dave. I'm a collector of cards of players who are underappreciated but had careers in the major leagues. I feel anyone who played even one day in the majors was a world-class baseball player, and for this reason I collect former Negro Leaguer and Major League Bridge player Harry Simpson cards. I began my Harry Simpson fandom in the late 1950s. I'm not exactly sure why. I'm thinking it's because one of my best friend's dad's name was Harry. Not a super common name even back in those days. Mr. Esgate was a really good man. He was a World War II veteran. He used to take us to the local minor league baseball teams games, the Yakima Bears, and to the racetrack. He worked for a local cement products company and built a swimming pool in his backyard. We spent many a summer day in that pool. That aside, I started adding to my boyhood Harry Simpson card collection 5 or 6 years ago. In the last few years of collecting, I've come to understand that when you collect baseball cards, sometimes you end up collecting more than pictures of baseball players. You collect stories of their careers. Along with the following brief synopsis of Harry Simpson's story, I'll be showing a few of his cards in my collection. Not to brag, but I'm TCDB's #1 Harry Simpson card collector. Harry Leon Simpson was born in 1925 in Atlanta, Georgia, the fourth of 6 children. His family later moved to Dalton, Georgia, deep in the segregated South, where Harry grew up. According to his Saber story, Harry was called Goody because of his kind disposition and willingness to help. As a teenager, Harry showed enough promise as an athlete that baseball would eventually become his ticket to a different life. In 1941, at the age of 15, oh, by the way, there is some dispute of when he was actually born, Harry enlisted in the U.S. Army and served till the end of World War II in 1945. The next year, he was discharged, married his wife, the former Johnny Cooper, and signed with the Negro National League's Philadelphia Star, originally as a right-handed pitcher, but was moved to the outfield. In 1947, with his average slipping, he began to question his career choice, leaving the team and getting a job in sales. Simpson later recalled those days saying, "It was a tough life. Sometimes you'd play in 5 cities in 5 nights, and you never see a bed. We thought nothing of playing 3 games in the same day. We never had a trainer. You carried some liniment oil and rubbed it on when you hurt." However, as it is said, behind every good man is a better woman, and Harry, like many of us, married up for sure. Johnny pleaded with Harry to return to the diamond, which he wisely did. After hitting .298 for the Stars in 1948, Harry caught the eye of a scout who compared him to a tan Ted Williams, the splendid splinter. Harry was later described by a writer as lean and gangly. In his prime, he was 6'1", 180 pounds. The scout, Eddie Gottlieb, a coach for the NBA's Philadelphia Warriors, said Harry is built like Ted, is faster, and can field much better. He said, "I'm not going to say that he will hit better than Ted, but he has a chance." At his own expense, Gottlieb financed a trip for Harry to Arizona to work out with the Cleveland Indians. The previous year, Bill Veeck and the Indians had signed Larry Doby, and after Harry went 4 for 4 with 2 home runs in a split squad game, he quickly was signed by the Indians' general manager, Hank Greenberg. In 1949, Harry played in Class A Wilkes-Barre, leading the league with 31 home runs and 120 RBIs. In Wilkes-Barre, a reporter gave Harry a nickname, Suitcase. When I was a boy, I thought it was because he played on so many teams. But in fact, since he had size 13 feet, a sports writer paired him with a cartoon character from the comic strip Toonerville Folks with big feet called Suitcase Simpson, and the name stuck. Harry didn't much like the name at first, but gradually he got used to it. In 1950, he was promoted to the Pacific Coast League's San Diego Padres, and in a 200-game season, he hit .323 with 19 triples, 33 home runs, and 146 RBIs, becoming one of the Indians' top prospects. In the 1951 Indian training camp, he was again being compared to Ted Williams. According to Saber, the Indians roster included 4 black players, Larry Doby, Luke Easter, Minnie Minoso, and Simpson. According to several sources, including the Sporting News, the Indians' management wondered if 4 Negro players on the club were too many. Internally, they decided to keep 3. Harry had hit over 400 in spring training, and when it came time to trim the roster, Greenberg decided to stick with Simpson and peddle the future Hall of Famer Minnie Minoso to the White Sox, a move they would later surely regret. Splitting time between outfield and first base, Simpson had a subpar season. One newspaper wrote that Simpson should have been playing minor league ball for experience. The early promotion to the major league stunted a potentially promising career. Over 4 seasons with the Indians, he had his ups and downs, but after the arrival of Ralph Kiner in 1955, Simpson became expendable and was sold to the Kansas City Athletics. Working with A's manager Lou Boudreau, Harry became a fan favorite and improved his average to .301. In 1956, Harry had a breakout season, hitting .293 with 21 home runs and 105 RBIs, and was named to the AL All-Star team. With his range and strong arm, Yankee manager Casey Stengel called him the best right fielder in the league. That was the kind of season that demonstrated exactly why black players like Simpson had been fighting for the opportunity to play at the highest level. He could hit, he could play several positions, and he could contribute to a major league team. And for a black player who had come through the Negro Leagues, finding a place in the major leagues could be especially difficult. There were still fewer opportunities than there should have been. The integration of baseball was progressing, but it wasn't complete yet. Harry Simpson was playing Major League Baseball during one of the most important transitional periods in the history of sport. He wasn't the first, but he was part of the generation that helped make it possible for future black athletes to be treated fairly and be given equal opportunities to compete for jobs in the major leagues. Today, all players making a high standard of living, if not millions and millions of dollars, owe a debt of gratitude to these early pioneers. Hitting .296 in the middle of 1957, Harry moved to the Yankees in a multiplayer trade that dealt Billy Martin to the A's. Coming off the bench and playing in the Big Apple with the Yankees did not suit Harry, and in mid-1958 he was traded back to the A's. In parts of 5 seasons with the Athletics, he hit .291, but in early 1959 he was traded to the White Sox in exchange for Ray Boone, the father of Bob Boone and grandfather of Brett and Aaron. The White Sox were then owned by former Indians owner Bill Veeck, who had brought Hank Greenberg along as his general manager, both who knew Harry well from his days with the Indians. Performing poorly with the Chi Sox, he was dealt to the Pirates for Ted Kluszewski, who went on to help lead the White Sox to the 1959 World Series. After season's end, Chicago reacquired Harry, though he missed out on a World Series check due to the double trade. 1959 turned out to be Harry's last year in the majors. After his major league career ended, Harry continued playing professional baseball for 5 more years. He again played with San Diego in the Pacific Coast League, spent time with Indianapolis, and finished his playing career in the Mexican League, where he played through 1964. After baseball, Simpson settled in Akron, Ohio, where he worked as a machinist for Goodyear Aerospace. He eventually retired from that job in 1976. Harry died of a heart attack at his home in Akron in 1979. He was only 53 years old. He is buried in West Hill Cemetery on Suitcase Simpson Drive in Dalton, Georgia, where his baseball life began. What should be understood about Harry and those other black players of his era is that racism and Jim Crow laws were persistent. How these men survived such abuse and were able to put together any meaningful career at all is unbelievable, really. Harry was one of 8 black players that broke into the major leagues in 1951. 12 others had broken the color barrier before him in the years 1947 to 1950. At the end of the 1952 season, only 5 major league teams had Afro-American or Afro-Latino players on their rosters. It wouldn't be till another 7 years later for every team to be integrated. Harry had a workmanlike career, batting .268, making an all-star team, and leading the league in triples twice. But statistics alone don't tell the whole story. Harry Suitcase Simpson was born and raised in the segregated South. He served his country during World War II. He had a family. He played in the Negro Leagues. He reached the major leagues during baseball's integrated period, and he spent nearly a decade proving that he belonged there. And Harry's in the Georgia State Hall of Fame. In the end, Harry's Suitcase name became almost prophetic. In 11 professional seasons, he played with 17 teams. As his career progressed, Suitcase Simpson became almost more recognizable than his actual first name. Harry Simpson was not the first black major leaguer. He was not the most famous, but he was one of the many players who helped move the major leagues from being an exclusive white men's club to a totally integrated reality for players of all colors. And maybe that's the perfect takeaway behind the name Suitcase. Harry was always on the move. Excuse me, but I'm going to break in here with a shout out for Tony Talks Cards. Tony has been doing a series of integrated MLB teams, starting with the latest one, all the way back to the first, which would be the Brooklyn Dodgers and Jackie Robinson. So Cleveland Indians should be just before that with Larry Doby and Harry Simpson and the like. So be sure to go check out Tony's channel. He does an awesome job. Thanks for watching. Y'all come back now. Here